Hello, my name is Caitlin Wallace, and for my book, I did Sphere by Michael Crichton. This book was published in 1987, and while the year it was written in may not be important for most books, it's very important with Sphere because it sets the stage for the entire story. A couple of years earlier, in 1985, Robert Ballard and a team of scientists uncovered the wreck of the Titanic. This discovery had been a long time coming because people had been looking for the wreck ever since the fateful day when the Titanic crashed into the iceberg. They uncovered this wreck by using an unmanned underwater vehicle that had a video camera on it, and this camera simultaneously sent the footage back to the boat where the scientists were at the same time that it recorded it. This allowed the public to view it very quickly and created a great sense of wonder and excitement about the deep ocean and shipwrecks in general. Crichton used this public interest to his advantage. While he has a shipwreck and the deep ocean in his story Sphere, he also changes it up, and instead of a normal shipwreck, the ship is from the future and has been sitting underwater for many hundreds of years. He also made the shipwreck in his story much more intact than the wreck of the Titanic. This is because many people were hoping to find the Titanic with some of its artifacts and structures still intact, and instead they found it in bad condition with not much intact. Michael Crichton took this and flipped it on its head and made his ship very much so intact that they could go in the ship without having to worry about anything, and it was still in perfect condition, and they were able to explore the ship and learn a lot about it. He also used the technological advancements of the late 1900s in his story. In Sphere, you can see evidence of this in the underwater habitat where the characters are for most of the story. This habitat is self-sustaining for 5 days without power. While we are very close to getting this technology to work now, in 1987 this technology was very far off and very futuristic. He used this to get people interested in his story and to create a sense of wonder within his story. He also used technological advancement in another direction. At the beginning of the story, the technologies of the underwater habitat are amazing, but by the end, it fails and leads to the death of more than one of the crew members. He uses this in a sense that technology is amazing, but it can also lead to our downfall. He also plays into the idea of humans creating something that leads to their own downfall in Sphere, and in another one of his later, more well-known novels, Jurassic Park. In Jurassic Park, he writes a story where the scientists are creating dinosaurs and pushing the laws of nature. These dinosaurs then turn on them and leads to their own destruction. This is evident in Sphere as well because some of the characters gain the ability to create whatever they imagine, and one of them accidentally creates a monster squid which attacks the spaceship constantly. He goes on to use this idea not just in Jurassic Park, but also in Congo and Prey. This proves that he might have his own fear of something that he creates coming back and causing his destruction. Michael Crichton's use of fantasy in Sphere makes this message of creating our own destruction more subtle. He hides it within the fantasy so that it does not scare his readers away. However, if you want to get this message from it, all you have to do is read it and pay attention to it. The story, without the fantasy, it forces the reader to take a look at their own fears, but how they can control them. And that would turn away many readers. Therefore, he hides it within the fantasy. So, all in all, Sphere was influenced by many things at the time it was written. It was influenced by the wreck of the Titanic, which happened just a couple years before it was published, well, the discovery of the wreck. He also was influenced by the technological advancements of the late 1900s and his own fear that what he creates would be his downfall. For my activity, I want you to imagine the possibility that you could create anything and everything you imagine. Would you take this power or not? And why? Thank you.